All right, this is crazy because I don't think anybody's ever really shown something like this because there's something really wrong with the health system. You know what I mean? I remember guys complaining of like stomach pain, like, saying they think they're gonna die, all types of crazy health issues, and then going to the hospital, and then the hospital telling them that they're fine and it's all in their head or it's just stress, and then them dying like a week later and getting brought out, in a body bag from their bed. I've seen this multiple times. So it really started to occur to me throughout my own experiences going to hospitals and clinics and uh, whatever, seeing doctors. I haven't been able to get a family doctor in 7 years. I haven't seen a family doctor or had a family doctor since I was like 14 years old, and I'm 30 years old. I have not seen a doctor. Whatever happens from the age of 15 to 30, health wise, I have no idea what could be possibly wrong with me. I have a lot of different health issues that I'm struggling with, that comes with age. And also, I spent 15 years in the streets, I didn't live right for a very long time, drinking, smoking cigarettes since I was 15 years old, smoking weed, just the street life will beat the brakes off you, you know what I mean? Especially for that long. Um, but here's a crazy thing here. I had to test this out. It actually kind of happened by accident, but I've witnessed stuff like this all the time. Doctors really don't know what the fuck they're talking about in British Columbia, and I can prove it. I can prove that it's fake what they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about. I have actual proof now, and this is why people die all the time, and this is why people are, you know, complaining of problems for 5 years, and then all of a sudden at the last minute the doctor's like, oh, sorry, you have stage 4 terminal cancer and you have 6 months to live. They had 5 years to figure that out. They could have found it 5 years ago at its beginning stages, but they ignore everything and they pretend and they act like they know what they're talking about, but they don't. And I'm almost wondering if it's by design. So I went to 3 different doctors, and all 3 of them gave me a different diagnosis of what was wrong with me. So, and they were confident in what they believed that it was, right? Okay, people make mistakes, whatever, right? Doctors aren't perfect. Okay, cool. But when your health and your life is on the line and they claim to have the education and the experience and doctors knows best, and they disregard everything you say and just tell you, oh, it's just stress and there's nothing wrong with you and you're a young healthy guy and blah blah. I've had them do x-rays of my lungs and be like, you have perfect lungs, your lungs are in perfect condition. That's physically impossible. I've been smoking cigarettes and weed for 15 years. You don't smoke cigarettes and weed for 15 years and have great lungs. It doesn't exist. And I had asthma when I was young. And my father died of emphysema. Okay? It's hereditary. I can't breathe. I haven't been able to breathe since I was 22 years old. I've been struggling, and it's progressive. It's getting worse and worse and worse. I'm out of breath right now from just talking. On the phone, when I talk to my mom, she hears. She's like, why are you out of breath? 5-minute conversation. I can't talk anymore because I'm out of breath. It's looking bad for me, okay? But the doctors will say there's nothing wrong with me, and then I'll die like that, and they do this to everybody. There's many, many, many people dying because of the failures and the ignorance of the medical system. So I go to 3 different doctors, 3 different locations, and they all give me a different diagnosis that is not even related to each other, not even close. And based off of the symptoms that I gave the doctors, the diagnosis they gave me, that I looked up more information on what they diagnosed me with, was completely irrelevant to the symptoms that I gave to them, that I told them I was having. That's like, diagnosing me with a broken leg when I have a broken ankle or something. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous, right? And this is causing people to die because things can be, caught early. And fixed, or people can be saved if things are caught early, like cancer and all that stuff. You have a chance at fighting some of this stuff, but they wait until the last second, say everything's good with you, and then 5 years later, oh, sorry, you got stage 4 cancer, you're gonna die, like nothing we can do, go home. You know what I mean? A lot of this stuff can be prevented. You know what I mean? There's a lot of health complications that can lead to death. You know what I'm saying? Because of the failures of the system. When they could have fixed it, but they just disregard, or they're just ignorant. They live in a fake world. I don't know. But 3 different doctors gave me 3 different diagnoses. Okay? And then just walks away. You know what I mean? Like, they don't want to deal with it. They're in and out. They just rush you. You know what I mean? They don't want to actually hear what's going on with you and investigate and actually figure out what's going on with you. And then on top of it, I got blood work, right? I got right here. This is the blood work for Life Labs. I got that piece of paper, and I ended up going back to the same doctor about, 4 days later for something else. And I spoke to him more in depth about the issues I'm having. So he said, you know what? I'm going to scratch the first one I gave you, the blood work I gave you. I'm going to fill out another one and do some more extensive, in-depth blood work. So I'm thinking, okay, so he's going to, now that what I told him, he's going to, off of what I told him, my symptoms, he's going to go and he's going to do a little bit more of an in-depth, test for more things. Check off some more squares, some things to check out, based off of my symptoms. So he literally told me that. He's like, okay, forget about the first one. I'll issue another one, and I'll make sure that we actually do more of an in-depth, extensive blood testing. That's what he said, extensive. He used that word. So I'm thinking, okay, so there's probably going to be more check marks and stuff checked off of this blood work. So then I bring it home, right? I still have the first one. I look at the first one, and then I look at the second one, the one that's supposed to be more in-depth, extensive blood work that he claims that he was going to fill out for me to further, in more depth, investigate what might be wrong with my health based off of my symptoms that I've expressed to him. I look at the one on the left and I look at the one on the right, and they are the exact same. They're testing for the exact same things, and a lot of these things are just basic blood work, just testing your potassium and sodium. Like, you're not going to figure out anything by these types of blood tests. That's why blood work always comes back fine for everybody all the time. You could have a blood clot. You could be shot in the head, and they'll be like, oh yeah, you're doing great. You know what I mean? Your blood work's great, looking good. Because they're only testing for things that are always going to come up as okay and good. Because you're testing for stupid stuff like calcium. I get it. Some of these things can indicate that there may be, what's the word? Whatever. There could be a problem, an underlying issue, health issue that may be causing an imbalance in calcium or something. I don't know, sodium or something, But bottom line is, how is it that both of these sheets have the exact same testing on it? But he told me that forget about the first one. I'm going to give you another one, and it's going to be more extensive blood work that we're going to look into here to try. It's a front. It's a fraud. It's a lie. They do it on purpose. They do this shit on purpose, okay? People are dying because of this, because they're not doing their job. They're not using any effort. They're not using any education, and they're having zero intent behind what they're doing. They don't care. They just want to come get paid, say, yeah, you're good. See you next. You know what I mean? And this is Canada. People think we got good health care. Buddy, they'll let you die out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, I had I couldn't afford to see a dentist at one point in time for a tooth that was infected, which they ripped out. They took a tooth from me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they took my tooth. I'm 30 years old. Like, they probably could have repaired. They probably could have did it now. Oh, let's just rip it out. Fuck this guy. Anyways, so there was an infection, and everybody knows that, a tooth infection, can be pretty serious. You know what I mean? Like a wisdom tooth, you get a tooth infection that's in your mouth. You're swallowing the infection. It's close to your brain. It can spread. These are known facts. You know what I mean? It's a dangerous thing. Infection is dangerous. People die from infection, and it can happen fast or it can happen slow. You can get gangrene in 3 days from the first point of infection. Like you never know. So I had this infection that was pain, and I was getting sick from it. And I had this for 3 months, and I went to the hospital multiple times because I couldn't see a dentist. I don't know what they could do for me, but they need to stop the infection. They need to give me penicillin. They need to help me fight this infection before it kills me, because you can't just let an infection manifest. You can't just let it just develop. You know what I'm saying? Especially in your mouth where there's bacteria. You know what I mean? It's not a good situation, but they were going to let me die. Okay, the hospital was like, "Oh, we're not going to give you penicillin or anything like that." Like, I'm literally like sucking pus out and spitting it out. Like, it's disgusting. It was bad. You don't want that. You know what I mean? And how do I not get any help from this? How come there's no help? You know what I mean? Like, this is an infection. Typically, what they would do is give you penicillin, so that way you can fight the infection, and the infection doesn't turn into a blood infection and kill you. Because that's what happens if you leave an infection. It will kill you. That's why we have medicine, and it's called penicillin. Look it up. Do your own research. Anyways, so I went to the hospital multiple times. They weren't going to give me penicillin. I told them, listen, if I go back home and I die, I'm going to make a video and schedule it to upload, okay, in a couple of months. You know what I mean? If anything happens to me, I know your name. You know what I mean? Whatever. Like, I was holding them accountable, these doctors that didn't want to give me penicillin. And then he's like, okay, I'll give you penicillin. Like, he got scared because he knew he was supposed to give me penicillin. Like, these fucking guys aren't doing their job. You know what I mean? If I have an infection, I come to the hospital, and it's a serious infection. Like they even said, they're like, that's pretty serious. You need to see a dentist. I can't see a dentist for months. And it's been months. I've had this infection in my mouth for 3 months. It can't stay any longer. I'm getting ill. It's making me physically sick. Probably even mentally sick. Like, you don't want infection spreading, man, into your blood. So they wouldn't help me. Clinics wouldn't help me. So I had to argue with them and threaten them with the law, basically, by saying, like, if somebody dies because you don't give them the medication, that's going to be on you. But this happens all the time. People die all the time because of, lazy ass doctors not doing their job and actually not being as educated as you think they are, as they think they are. People dying, but they go home, they die, and nobody knows about it. Doctor never gets away with it. Nobody cares, whatever. It is what it is. But I'm not going out like that, ever. You know what I'm saying? So then they did give me the penicillin. But it just goes to show, I've so many times out here in BC, the health system out here, crazy. They don't care. And I have, okay, so I know somebody that works in the medical field as a nurse. And they told me that you get a purple dot on your file that indicates that you're a troubled person, like you're problematic or mentally ill, or you're a drug addict. You get this purple file or mark beside your file. Have you ever been treated at the hospital or clinics and stuff like you're a drug addict or something, and you're just there to try to get pain pills or something like that? Like, they treat you like, I don't use drugs, never have. You know what I'm saying? The weed, whatever, that's a different story. For medicinal purposes, I used cannabis. But they treat you like a full out, like you're trying to get drugs out of them. You're only there for one purpose. And they disregard your health. And people die because of that. But it's because you piss somebody off at the hospital. You piss one of the nurses, anybody off in the medical industry. They will put a purple dot on your file. And that indicates to basically treat this person. Just disregard this person. They treat you like a criminal or a drug addict or whatever. But there's a bias system. It's systematic corruption. And they literally target you. And they literally treat you differently. And she told me, this girl that I know that's in the medical, that she's seen this, like literally firsthand. She's there working. She knows the deal. And she was like, it's crazy what they do. It's sad what they do. But, people can't say anything because they'll lose their jobs. But it just proves that people are dying because of this. what I'm saying? So you're gonna three different doctors, three different diagnoses that are all completely unrelated to each other, and none of them are accurate to the symptoms I'm having. So it's not even real. They're just giving me medication that's ineffective for something I don't even have. Second of all, oh yeah, disregard that first paperwork, blood work. Let me fill another one out and do some more really in-depth, extensive testing on your blood so we can really figure out what's going on. I come back and I look at both of them. They're the exact. Literally, I took pictures of it. Maybe I'll put it in the video. Maybe I won't. But anyways, point blank period is they're the exact same things. Yeah, they're the same. Why would he do that? But you know what they'll do if I said anything about this? They'll put a purple dot on my file. It's already there anyways. Purple dot on my file, and then they'll penalty me because of it, and they will disregard me and treat me like I'm whatever. And it's crazy how they treat people, like drug addicts, people that are going through mental health and stuff. They treat you, they'll literally get security to remove you, like, and let you die. They will let you die. You know what I'm saying? They do it all the time. I watch people all the time. When I was homeless, people were dying left, right, and center. And they would go to the hospital and say, yo, I have a serious problem, blah, blah. Oh, no, you're fine. Blood work's great. Your lungs are perfect. Guy goes to sleep, doesn't wake up. I watched it happen over and over, and it really woke me up to what the health system is doing, especially in BC. Anyways, I just wanted to make that apparent. This is crazy. I mean, I should strap a hidden camera to myself and go into every single clinic, give them my symptoms, and watch them, every single one of them, give me a different diagnosis. First of all, it's not healthy taking medication that you don't need. That's not fitting for what's wrong with you. It's like me taking blood thinning medication for something that I don't even have. There's no need for that. You're killing people. You know what I mean? Causing serious damage to people's health. All you have is your health. The only important thing in this life is your health. That's the first thing. Without good health, nothing else matters. So this is a serious thing. You know what I mean? And it's happening. A lot of people are dying because of it, and there's no way to prove it. And doctors they're allowed to get away with anything. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to make a video quickly about that and expose that. This is mind-boggling. I could go on forever about the things that I've experienced through the medical system that was just insane. I stopped going. When anything bad happens to me and I'm scared, I don't even go to the hospital or a clinic because they'll just finish you off. They'll kill you. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with cancer. There's a 2% success rate with chemotherapy. You know what I mean? Your body has a better chance at defeating cancer by itself without that. That's literally speeding up the process of your death by chemo. It's killing you. It's destroying you. It's destroying your last chance at being able to survive an aggressive disease that kills you. Speeds it up. You know what I'm saying? 2% success rate with chemo. People have, beaten cancer and taken chemo, but that's your body literally fighting and beating the cancer and beating the chemo that's going against you. You would have had better odds in the first place. You would have probably recovered faster or beat it faster. You're either going to beat the cancer or you're not. And there obviously there's, a large chance that even without the chemo, you might not beat the cancer. I'm not saying, whatever, but I'm just saying it looks to me like the system literally chews you up and spits you out. You go to them with your problems and hope that they save you, and they literally destroy you. People get paid every time that you go in to do surgery. You know that, right? So they'll literally break things and create problems in your body so they can do surgeries and say, oh yeah, now we need to do another surgery. Now we got to do another one. Oh, that didn't work this time, so we got to do another one until you're completely reconstructed, destroyed, and altered for the rest of your life. And they just ate 20 racks off of you by doing surgeries to you. And you think they're helping you because out of fear and, faith in man instead of God for healing. This is what the system will do to you. Don't believe me? I bet you some people that are going to watch this video will tell you about their experiences in the comments, and please do. You know what I mean? People need to see what's happening. I mean, it's terrible, man. We're in a bad place. This world is not a good place. You know what I mean? The system is designed to destroy you, profit from you, kill you. You know what I mean? Use you, and then say it was your fault. And for you to take accountability, and people, instead of the system never takes accountability. It's always us that has to take accountability for ourselves. But anyways, I'm out, man.